percentage win rate here for NUTURN is a bit concerning, though, Doug. 44% on attack. So they need everything they can get here on defense. They got to make it work because it may be rough on the second side. Just a speculation, but we got now a little bit of mid-run going on, and it looks like it is going to be V1 feeling the weather here in mid before they make a move.
You see Suggest has something set up towards garage on B as well.
Ooh.
And there's nobody home. They have taken the space away, but they do have spidey senses tingling, feeling like the hit's going to go this way, and in a large part, they are right? Like, there's no presence towards A. They're looking to work this B mid split.
If you, here, we'll get this, and then I'll talk about what I was just about to say. Nice in by Penny, distracting. Oh, dear. That got real close, and they're going to have to really struggle to get this one in as they did not get too much info.
Oh, Vanity read that so well. You saw two members of NUTURN try to push through to get behind them, and Vanity was waiting for it, and now V1 are looking to dial up a little something spicy, a little something special, as they've picked up the spike, and it looks like they're going to try to flip the map. They've taken defender spawn. They're working all the way across back towards A, and you can see it's a foot race as Lakia is trying to get to be the first one there, and Lakia does beat them to the punch. They're going to rotate back, but you've got Allow, who's also pinching them in, and they're going to walk right into his lap. Allow with the frenzy, Allow with the kills, Allow with the win. A 3K for NUTURN.
Great job by NUTURN playing that one slow. What I was going to mention was, I said before we see Jammies go off alone. He'll Viper wall, he'll stay with that, he'll give info. And you saw the whole time, Suggest was kind of waiting on that position, making sure nobody was there, but NUTURN never really bit to anything until they had confirmation. They weren't worried about the Viper wall. It's something that version 1 plays all the time there. See, again, Viper wall towards the left side just a bit deeper, which tries to cover that upper area of heaven. We'll see how they use this now, because they can get a little closer without a distraction yet.
Oh, gravity wall, and you're seeing a bit of a force. Oh, it's just actually in the hands of Penny, excuse me. But they did put some money into this round. You mentioned the Viper's wall. You mentioned the dash as well from Penny as he's gotten his way up to heaven. Not triggered by the Killjoy turret yet. I think one thing we have to keep in mind here, especially in the attacking half, is you think back to their map against Liquid, which was an overtime... an instant classic overtime match, and there were a couple of instances, one that's very vivid, where version 1, like, I believe Pansy said they overcooked it, right? Like, they tried rotating. Yeah,
just back and forth, back and forth.
Right, they, like, played themselves, and you kind of saw some hints of that in the way they played that pistol, where they got back into defender spawn, then they tried pulling back, and Allow was just waiting for him, so we have to watch that. How many pump fakes are they willing to throw? Parry with the paranoia, and then the fault line as well, and the grenade. It's just way too much. It's too easy. NUTURN mows him down. Just a couple remaining timing on the side.
Great read, great everything. Left. Honestly, just waiting to make this one cleaned up here.
Yeah.
And they push forward. So, NUTURN, for the first time here in the map, starting off nice and strong, making sure they can keep V1 on the back foot. We did see a bit of a control here and back and forth in the few maps before, but a lot more NUTURN members were falling. A lot more economy was required for their next rounds, and here they get a very nice Prime Gaming Flawless.
Very nice one indeed. Now version 1, what do they bring to the fold? You mentioned how important it is really for both of these teams to get a lead right in this first half because of how because of the nature of split and how it frequently plays out. I think there's a lot that can be determined just off of this first half when we think about how things will play out. And it was just such a good stand by NUTURN. One of the other things I'm loving from them, Riv, is how they have, well, we're gonna have to hold on to that thought. That op shot from Allow just narrowly misses as they try to work their way up A.
And here, now the jammy strat. Leave him off to the side. It's up to NUTURN to now divide themselves accordingly. Usually they will have Suggest towards the middle of the map, so he can control with a fault line, whether that's towards mailroom or whether that's back down towards ramp. So they keep it safe there. The opt for Allow as Vanity on the move.
And Celsius, I mean, look at how far up they both are, right? They have full control of mid. That was their one key condition to work out. And yeah, they got one, but Lakia drops. Perry's going to drop as well. Now they have the middle of the map. Take a look at how Celsius is going to be wrapping up behind them as well as he took his way up ropes, deep into defender spawn. There is no area of the map that V1 are not willing to push into. But again, Suggest is just able to punish that vanity drops.
Nice job by NUTURN there to continue to pressure. I thought V1 was going to try to pull a rope-a-dope. And Solo with a beautiful push and pressure here, knowing that V1 is always going to rotate around the map a little bit. It's hardly ever the first hit. That's what the information that Jammies is giving, so they can do multiple things, decide what they want in their own adventure. But Solo pushes up. If you can grab this room on split, it means so much because of how the entries work. You otherwise know they're going through the middle of vents. You know, so if you can see NUTURN pushing up like this every time, the calls they have to make are that much easier. Really smart plays.
You can already see this, we're only a couple rounds in, but this feels like a chess match already of watching players rotate around the maps and how they're kind of reading, trying to be one step ahead of one another. There you saw a beautiful multi-kill off of that exact same situation, right? Like reading things out. We'll see how V1 play this out from the attacking half. You see the fault line coming out, delaying any sort of entry into Garage, and with that, that allows Perry to get some aggressive positioning, hold that other side, and set up a brutal crossfire with Allow and Perry and Garage.
I like the fact that NUTURN is splitting the wall over there on A. This new wall that you see version 1 putting up means if they do go through that top vent area, they pretty much have a safe spot towards the backside of A there. So here they put a little aggression over towards that B site in Garage, and we'll see if they actually execute fully on this with their save round coming through.
You should run. So, all right, let's see how this plays out before I try to break this out. You see the lockdown has come out. Penny's already good onto Allow. And they've got some room, but the thing is, Suggest is back on site. He's safe from the lockdown, and he's got a rifle. Yeah, you've got plenty of utility, but the flash was there. He gets punished anyway, but Perry does not. Solo gets onto one as well. I mean, version 1 just kind of get ripped to shreds here. Celsius with 8 health in a 1v2, and I mean, yeah, we've seen some crazier things, but insanely unlikely. Lakia gets cleaned up. And here's the thing, Riff, that I wanted to point out. It's so oppressive that NUTURN takes that much space because, okay, let's play out that round one more time. They got deep into Garage, they invested utility, great. Version 1 had to invest an equal amount of utility in the Cloudburst, the dash, the the Astra Star to clear out that corner, and all NUTURN had to do was back up to where they started, right? So even though that much utility was invested to push them back, they just went back to equal footing. There wasn't anything that was really gained that wasn't already version 1's to begin with.
And they're not backing down. Previously on Haven, that might have been a save in one of those rounds that you see version 1 get back through some Sheriffs and Spectres. But NUTURN was saying, no, we're Phantoms. We got a Vandal. Oh, no, they're all Phantoms right now. And a Vandal, there is one. So knowing that, why not take the fights? They have to show confidence, and NUTURN is really starting to step up. Jammies working alone by himself with that wall once again, as the rest of Vision Strikers grab the information. Solo, I mean, he is playing true to his name right now. Anytime he is put in that situation, he comes out on top. Huge for the team once again.
Suggest gets cleaned up at the hands of Penny. And you see Jammies has made his way towards A, playing around the wall, big kill as well. And you like that, right? Because at that moment, the spike is still in the middle of the map. You feel things out on A. If Jammies does get a kill there, they can flip it. Oh, that's big. He cancels it out. They're not going to be pushing in from that way, but if Jammies doesn't get that kill, then they can flip and go the other way. I love that you see Penny still holding the middle of the map as well, controlling the flank. And he's going to get a chance at something here. They walk right into his crosshair to control that. The spike's going to go down at the hands of Effie's, and now NUTURN have to take back.
Looks like they're just hanging out for this one.
Yep.
Make sure they're safe. And looking at, you talk about Jammies a bit. We keep saying he's alone, but let's talk about why that works good for him. You know, why would they put the sub alone? Well, Jammies comes over as a teammate already previously of a few members of this team, and Zelsis and whatnot. So you see him, one, having that communication. Two, he was kind of a duelist in Valorant, jet player, whatnot, but you're not going to move Penny off that. So putting him in a situation where he can do whatever in 1v1s is fantastic. But on a new team, we've heard version 1 say he's not making that many decisions. So having Jammies hang out in a situation while people pressure him sounds like the perfect and ideal situation for this sub. And honestly, he gets a 1 kill across the map here, and he just gets to play around his utility and use 5 head stuff.
Yeah, Jammies has performed admirably, to say the least. I mean, the guy's been incredible. But for version 1, I think that's also an important round because you've got to get, you've got to stop the bleeding, right? Like, you're down 4, you can feel the momentum, and think back with me, Riv, right after the pistol, the energy that NUTURN showed when they won that round. You'd think they had won an overtime round, right? To freaking win the whole dang thing. And I think the important thing to take away from that is the momentum that they had from winning the overtime in the previous map fully carried here, and you can see it on the timeline, right? They roar out of the gates, they win 4 rounds in a row, and for version 1, a lot of it was like, you've got to mitigate some of this damage, you've got to do something to stop this and shift the way things are going, because this can get out of hand very quickly.
We'll have to see what they... I mean, NUTURN here taking the tactical timeout to make sure they can continue doing what they're doing and make sure that none of this is, you know, anything's coming back to fruition that might plague them in a situation where they're ahead, ironing all that out, whatever they may be talking about. It's even harder with masks on. Now we can't even really speculate that much. Who reads lips? Who reads lips through masks? But, you know, we talk about version 1 quite a bit so far. We've explained Jammies and whatnot. We got to go, you know, back to talk about Solo and where he's been with Perry. And they're between them, as they said on the desk, over 2 decades of professional gaming experience and leadership there for Solo. Perry included in the gaming experience, but just what Solo has been able to accomplish himself, the veteran that he is, and still, honestly, booming the zooms, if you will.
Booming the zooms. Indeed, let's take a look at setups early on. You see the Viper's wall is going to go up, cover top ramps, and is going to cover heaven. You also have the Killjoy turret to deny any sort of rotation wrapping around from version 1 in case they get a little cheeky, try to dial up a little bit of monkey business. Ooh. As now, with that, all of that in mind, right? Like, they've taken care of A. They understand they have safety valves over there. Vanity's the safety valve on B, but with all of that, they can kind of feel things out across the middle of the map now.
The 3-block Viper wall is up. We see on the right side again, this millabout here that NUTURN has been able to read by version 1. As version 1 tries to figure out what's going on, NUTURN has been in the right spot. They've never really wanted to rotate through mid. They only take a few fights here. A quick suck doesn't do too much, though. And now they're able to hang out. So a bit of util now expended here from Vanity as they try to move forward. And we'll see where they can use the rest of these stars as they place them, it looks like, over towards that A site, where Jammies, again, has been grabbing info on what could be happening.
Yeah, but dude, he might have grabbed some info, but I think it's just like that nobody's home, right? And you've got so much utility. There's the alarm bot. That's going to give that away. And he hadn't even gotten up that far to have that much space. So once that alarm bot goes off, with roughly 35 seconds left in the round, you know that that's where the hit's going to go. Now, keep an eye on Jamie still. He's
already lining up.
Got to line up, indeed, but Solo's lockdown's going to create some space. They're going to have to back off, and this might, I mean, Riv, this might end up being lineup 101 here, because even if they play off with that, they've got some of those lineups. It's safe for them to play this out. If you're NUTURN, you've got to take the fight to version 1 here. You've got to stick it to him.
Oh my
Allow
God.
just narrowly missing onto 1, but Solo does not. Allow gets a second. Version 1 can't get back in. The defuse is going to start. You see Jammies is alive. There's the snake bite. Is it going to be enough for the defuse?
He got it!
It stops him. It delays him. But can they get back on? Can they get back on, Riv? I don't know if they can.
They got
Solo's
time.
getting it to half. Solo's getting it to half. Solo steals it right out of under their noses.
That might have been the weirdest A-site hold I've seen. All 5 players over towards Alt Orb? Oh my word, version 1. That was, NUTURN was just shooting fish in a barrel there for the last few moments. They come up 5-1, like you said, suggests just right under their noses, even with the next Viper bite coming through. And, boom, or Solo rather, sorry. Just off to the side.
Yeah, Riv, they just didn't have anything left. And, like, you know, we saw that lockdown early on and how much space it created. V1 had to funnel back, right? But now, on the attack again, they've got rifles across the board and a Spectre. Jamie's, again, still kind of playing chicken over on A's side. He's going to get some good info. He's going to get a kill. And Allow doesn't swing it out.
That's such a hard play for Solo. The person on the outside is always going to be able to see you there. Puts himself in a tough spot, but Penny now going into that B site. He's going to be alone. Dashes straight through.
Celsius and Penny get a couple of kills apiece. You see Vanity is playing in Garage as well, holding the middle of the map as Jammies is holding Garage as Jammies is holding the middle of the map, and you see NUTURN this early on in the round, they've already punted. They've given up the space, and it's interesting to see, Riv, that's now twice that NUTURN, I mean, a 2v5 sucks, right? Like, a 2v5 is not a pleasant situation to find yourself in. But you see teams at least try it. There's this very clear NUTURN, once they have decided that, all right, guys, we can't win this round, they just cut their losses. They don't want to have anything to do with it.
We talked a little bit about NUTURN's percentages on this map. 67% win rate on the defense. When you look at all-time maps for teams and win rate percentages on attack defense, you'll sometimes see like 55s to 58s when they're really good, 60s to 63s, 67% on defense. And we're seeing that here as we're able to capitalize on almost round after round, version 1 finding a way through. But it's going to be tough is what I'm saying for version 1 still here on out, even finding rounds. This is where NUTURN feels so comfortable. And it's where they have to, because we mentioned their attack win rate percentage is 44%. So sometimes it can fall apart where maybe NUTURN again falls into that playing to their opponent in the moment and forgetting their own style.
Yeah, I think the story for V1 here is just how many rounds can you get, right? You aren't expecting to win this half. It's can we get to 8-4? Can we get to 7-5? And then get to the side that we prefer. This round, you've got the Jamie's wall up. Slightly different setup, right? Like, it's not necessarily hitting off top heaven. It's not hitting off top ramps the same way that we've seen before. It's a slightly different look. You see the Cosmic Divide coming out as well, and the Viper's Pit Riv. This is a full-blown fake, right? There is no intention to go A, but man, NUTURN have bit, and they've bit hard.
See how they recoup. You always get to do the full retake if this is the case, but that doesn't mean it's any better. Perry starts one off. The Omen from the shadows takes down Jammies, and we'll see how this one plays out. They finally find out that Jammies has been hanging out on A too long.
Vanity's playing off across the middle of the map as well. So they've got some control of the rotations. That's going to keep Harry at bay. Here comes the Thunder. Blocky has already been cleaned up. You hear the lockdown is going to come out as well. Buy a little time. The tap was there. No, Effie's gets absolutely destroyed. The gravity wall's coming out, and it's going to delay just a little bit. And the lockdown there as well, so they have to respect it. They have to back off. But Zelsis, not knowing what's going on, has to check it. Zelsis good for one. He gets cleaned up as Vanity alone in a 1v3. Yep. And the time is running as well. Vanity might do it. Ladies and gents, the 1v1 as the spike continues to tick away. It's not at half. Suggest gets the kill, but V1 get the round win.
And it is a push to the last moment for these rounds. NUTURN having a very, very methodical retake and hold in the middle of that site take, coming in together, trading over each other's shoulders, and then it comes down to it again. It's not a lineup this time, but that post-plant rather, of version 1 is just so deadly and hard to break through.
Hey, look at him too, man. Vanity just shows no emotion in those plays, in those moments. It's like cold. Poker face. I'd never want to call a bluff on that guy. Version 1, full rifles. NUTURN not nearly as fortunate. They have one in the hands of Lakia, who has the showstopper. But it seems like V1, they have found something that's starting to work. Of course, as I say that, the one rifle on the side of NUTURN takes care of Penny.
Veli brought it up coming into our last map, or out of our last map, that Penny was finding those first deaths instead of first bloods a little more. And it was affecting version 1, so we'll keep an eye on that call out as well from the analyst desk as we proceed through this now round 9. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, already a banger of a series. It's the final map here to see who stays up in the upper bracket between version 1 and NUTURN Gaming. It looks like a little love towards B here from version 1, and a lot of focus from NUTURN on defense has now pushed Killjoy to A.
Oh no. Oh no, the setup was there, right? You've got the judge, you also had the fault line. Everything was set up. NUTURN fully committed to controlling this area of the map, and this was not a fake. Much like what we saw previously, V1 did want to go towards B. They put that Sage wall up as well to try to give them entry, and they get absolutely destroyed. Perry once again using the ultimate to grab information, much like we saw a couple of rounds ago, ensure that nobody is pushing up into garage, because they have to flip the map. Yeah, Zelsis was deep, but he still gets punished. Jammies is alone, and he's not around for long. A flawless round from NUTURN. And I mean,
and that is prime gaming.
It is prime gaming indeed. You're absolutely right. It seems like every time V1 like figures something out and they punch back, NUTURN just respond in kind.
Yeah, NUTURN is literally reading version 1 like a book on these plays. I mentioned, I was like, oh my god, all of that utility from KJ was very much focused towards A. KJ's usually on A for the side of NUTURN, but the way they focused the util made me think B could be very dangerous, but the way these NUTURN set up, being behind each other, always having that contact play with somebody else to take the firefight as well, they do so well playing off each other in these moments where they're just feeling it. And right now, they very much are. As we come into round 10, Suggest a bit of a peek there, and he almost loses all of his head.
Yeah, second chance at life. He gets messed up, just down to 10 health, but he manages to get away. No heals on the side of NUTURN to get him back to full health. And much like we've seen the last couple of rounds, right? Like Jamie's the default, feeling things out on A, not getting any info, right? Now, like not getting any positioning, no real estate has been gained. And because of that, they can still play around this. They being NUTURN, right? They still have the Nanoswarm. They still have the turret. And you see the activation of that because V1 showed, and now they're going to pull back. The Sage wall is up. They're going to work their way in through heaven. Vanity rains fire down onto Suggest from top row. Perry trades it back out. Perry looking to hold fast. No, he's going to get cleaned up as the 3v3 comes through. Effie's res brings Vanity back into things, and there's Locky, showstopper. The blast pass across, and he lands onto one. Vanity rips him down from the skies as Allow is now the one on the entry. There's the lockdown as Zelsis cleans up Allow. Solo has to make some magic happen. There's a snake bite again, denying entry. At least just a little bit, make him think about it. Solo does finally get cleaned up. We talked about this Riv, right? For V1, 7-5, 8-4, that's a win. Right now it's been rocky, but they're holding serve.
This play coming in here, just seeing how it all executed, how it all worked out. You can't underestimate the use of the lockdowns here, but the placement of it wasn't in range. It was a different place than usual. So it leaves that spot open, just these small things at the last moment when you are forced to make the play. That's what it starts coming down to, is the opponents forcing each other to make plays under certain situations. You're trying to set a play up, you start getting shot at, you're gonna have to start darting and nading under that aspect of firefight. So that's all that NUTURN's trying to put down onto version 1. They're just not letting them do anything easy or fundamental to start off.
You can feel like version 1, or excuse me, NUTURN have a really good idea that they're going to want to hit B. Perry has smoked the entrance out of garage twice. They also invested the fault line at the beginning of the round, which is pretty standard. And there's also the denial of info. So version 1 has no idea if somebody's crossed across garage to be holding that flank. All of the heavy investment that way. Now, V1, because they haven't found much room to work with elsewhere, they're kind of like huddled up in the middle of the map. This is normally where we see Jammies peek out, see if he can get a kill, and then if they do, they can try to exploit the middle, work their way through ropes to get towards A. Oh, but it's Solo who gets impatient. It's Solo who gets punished. And while it wasn't through vents, it wasn't through ropes, they are going to go back towards A with 30 seconds left.
I think that's perfect by version 1. We'll talk about that in a minute as they rush the site here. Penny's going to be the first one in, looking for Locky at screens.
Here comes the Cosmic Divide as well. Penny playing just on the other side of it. Remember, he's got the Blade Storm, but if he's not careful, they're going to show up right behind him. Locky playing on the other side of the wall as it looks like they're just going to wait it out. And Riv, again, look at it. It's a 5v4. They're so concerned with controlling economy, with not losing grasp on the map, that they're willing to cut ties very early. It's the third time we see them do this.
It's kind of incredible to see, honestly. And exits may be something that they can get here. We'll talk a little bit about what I wanted to coming in and why this was such a good play for version 1. NUTURN is doing a great job at just denying info. I have hardly ever seen a team that doesn't put anyone in B heaven. We have seen version 1 walk all the way up there and out of B heaven multiple times, into ropes, out of ropes, because there's nothing to be grabbed there. And NUTURN's saying, sure, grab it. We're ready for the site take. Our plan is here. We're playing to your game, version 1. I keep looking at the V and saying Vision Striker since NUTURN, and I've been watching VOD after VOD. It's so hard to not say it. I apologize to everyone out there. But yeah, they're just, NUTURN this time is not falling prey to playing version 1's game.
Last round of the half, you got to keep a look at Ultimate. Zelsis 1 point away from having the lockdown in tow. There's the fault line. The smoke comes out as well on top of the nade, but this time it's an excellent counter, expecting that Perry's going to go around. They invest in Nano Swarm as well. Perry gets messed the F up, and he has to back up.
That is pretty messed up.
That is pretty messed up. Solo gets cleaned up at the hands of Jamie's as Penny flies across this screen. And look at the setups, right? They know where they want it. They've dropped the ping. The smoke from Viper is there as well. Penny's not allowed to get into the site at all as the spike goes down. They've got the lineups. This should be vintage version 1 here, Riv.
Hold it, bold. Let's see if they can get. They have a few right under hell, nice and easy. And yeah, they're just pressuring NUTURN into having to take something.
Well, and that's the thing, like, we've never seen NUTURN have to do this because now that it's the last round of the half, they're gonna fight it. There's no reason not to. Zelsis is creeping his way around. Penny flashed up, dashes away, somehow stays alive just long enough, but does get cleaned up. Suggest on the defuse. Effys and Zelsis are both there. Effys and Zelsis come right around the corner just in the nick of time to tie us up at 6 going into the second half.
What a start to this map. And kudos, I should say, for NUTURN, an amazing start, and kudos to the side of version 1 for being able to pull it back. Looking at the score lines, usually we don't say this, look, KDA is on my word, but looking at the score lines, you can see it has been a complete team effort by the side of version 1. Nobody's having the ability to pop off. Nobody's coming out. It's not Penny's day. This is requiring a lot of teamwork, and we're seeing a different version of the team now that they're kind of allocated to playing that style.
All right, NUTURN on the attack. We talked about what score version 1 needed to hit in order to feel good. They surpassed that. And now it's on NUTURN on the attack. What can they do? What areas of the map can they exploit? Again, this from a historical perspective, it is a bit better of a half for version 1, right? From a defensive perspective, they tend to play this a bit better. And as you mentioned, Riv, it's painfully average out of NUTURN on attack on split.
They don't have the breach just yet. I feel like that's kind of the initiation of the play after they figure out what's going on. Flank is going to be held by Perry as usual, just on the Omen, not the Astra this time. They do see a wall in front. That's not going to be activated just yet. The site take comes in from NUTURN, and they've made great ground.
Yes, they have indeed, as Penny and Zelsis are both out. Now Lau, the same spot we saw Penny in just a couple of moments ago, trying to control entry in from the defender's spawn. You see Jamie's up in heaven, trying to clear things out as well, and they're gonna have to bust a move here relatively soon. Good investment of utility. Yeah, Jamie's trying to clear some space. Here they go. Vanity flying across the screen. It's actually Effys that does it. Balakia cleans him up. Jamie's still up atop in heaven. He's left alone, and he's not around for long. So NUTURN win the pistol, a very important pistol.
Nicely done, too. In the end there, still having a bit of util, using it correctly. I thought they might have got caught out with the single peeks they did on elbow right here. This was the secondary of the peeks by Lakia. Able to hold it down, though. Not a problem for him as he gets his feet a little wet in the Viper's bite before end of the round with an and one. So that's a NUTURN round. That's a pistol round coming in. They're usually able to secure these. Are the shotties there? Always for Vanity. Always got a pocket shotty. But it is not going to be the regular buy here for version 1. Split is not a game you can start messing with Econ on. The moment you start going down on Econ, the map starts to roll in your opponent's favor.
Oh my gosh, that was borderline filth out of Solo. He did get one, but it got traded out. And you see NUTURN is dashed on to B, the paranoia to follow up, as well as Elias got into the backside. Now Vanity's in this great spot, but all he has is a classic. There's just not much he can do with that weapon. So Sight in full control of NUTURN here. Version 1 trying to fight for a retake. The only thing they have that's better is the Spectre in the hands of Penny, and he's got 5 health left. Well, he had 5 health left.
That is the story a lot of the times, huh? Parry and Suggest along with Allow here. Allow's like, I don't want to go down, so I'm going to go ahead and hold this Spectre. I'll be the last one to peek. Parry says, on me. Full health, full kill. Nice little round there for themselves. See what they actually keep in terms of guns. Suggest did have that shoddy in hand that he picked up. The Bucky for himself. And again, there you can see very much a team game across the board for the side of version 1, trying to pull it together. Jammies your information, grab it on the other side of the map. Usually trying to figure out the 1v1s and keep the post plants going on. The rest of the team playing well. Effie's now not on his Sova. We are seeing a little bit less of an impact there, but it's not like, oh, we shouldn't play Sova. He's just Sage this time, and it's almost a necessity. This wall right here is so big for shutting down a strategy in its tracks, and we'll see if we can get a bit of that.
I mean, and that's exactly what they've done so far, right? NUTURN fully stacked on A. They wanted to go that way. There is nobody lurking, gathering information anywhere. And that wall off the bat just buys so much time. On top of the gravity well, in case it gets broken down, they're able to mow them apart. And while that is how things panned out, they weren't able to get the kills. Lakia dashing across your screen. Effie's holds fast, good for one. The paranoia comes out as he has to reposition. Reload, no, not gonna matter as he gets taken out at the hands of Allow. Now, for NUTURN, they have some control on the site. They've got Solo playing the middle of the map as well.
Yep.
And Parry on the swing. He was holding such a pivotal part, but no, he gets cleaned up. The spike goes down.
Solo is so big for this round.
Oh, and he's hearing everything, Riv.
And he's taking the last move.
Yeah, if he can be patient, if he can be quiet, he's got a chance at something, but no, now his position's been given away. Here we go, another entry in from the defender spawn because there's no control of Heaven. Vanity has to clear them out or else they're just gonna be ripped to shreds. Vanity does clear them out. Now they can apply pressure from different areas. They've got Vanity up in Heaven. They've got people working their way around Pillar, but Allow! Allow does not allow any of that to go down. Suggest gets one as well. NUTURN get to 9.
That's huge by NUTURN. After version 1 identified what was going on up in Heaven, Vanity's seeing Solo behind, that should have been the rest of version 1 in the site, completely collapsing on the members that were there. But for Allow and Suggest to be able to hold those angles, even they know that was a hell yes. They were on the edge of their seat for that one, and on knife's edge for sure. 9-6 though, NUTURN getting a bit of a lead.
They are. Now version 1 are on a broken bye again. You've got the judge in the hands of Vanity, but that's it. Meanwhile, NUTURN far more bang behind their punch as they've got full rifles across the board. You see, I mean, we've seen a little bit of a look towards A, but that's really been it so far from the side of NUTURN as they've leaned towards B. You see Jamie's taking some of that space away. The dash across the site, the paranoia that follows. Allow goes up from the top ropes, and it's actually Zelsis' Nano Swarm that's able to get the opening pick. Allow with 18 health left. Certainly sitting dicey, and they know he's there, but they're not going to clear it. They're not going to clear it. Allow's still okay.
Gets to shake off the concussion. He'll be good back there. Very low HP though. Jammy's able to tag one down. Quick Viper Bite for any push that may come in as they pincer the site. This is going to be Jammies and Penny.
Jamie's good for it. Jamie's has he was the only one with a rifle. That's huge. It's now Parry alone in a 1v2 with 18 health, 3 bullets to his name. Has to switch over to the classic. Penny playing around the Cloudburst so patiently, so intelligently for version 1 there. There was not a, okay, we know where he is. Everyone fly at him. They were very patient. They played things out beautifully, and they bridged the gap down to 2.
What a round there. And a much necessary round. You can see the Thrifty coming up on your screen as they make it happen. And now they have a few guns to be working with on the round. We'll recap this one right here. The push around from Jammies. I mean, the guy sets up the same wall they set up on attack. He's like, this feels comfortable. Now we're going to go ahead and do something else around the map. Working together as per usual. Jammies, Penny, making it work. He's like, no, like we were ever going to lose that one. What's the setup here? Across the map, it's split. We do have the spike right now away from the rest of NUTURN, so expect this one to be drawn out a bit and a bit more of a default play from NUTURN Gaming.
Also note that Lakia is the only one without a rifle or a Spectre even, right? He's only got the Sheriff.
Are they focusing his ult here? Yeah, he's getting ult.
And that's, I mean, this is like full-on entry, full-on commit, right? They've got the Rolling Thunder. They have the Showstopper as well. There was a recon mission to try to grab that ult orb to get Lakia's ultimate online, and they've succeeded, right? So box one on this to-do list checked. There's still a long way to go, though.
Okay, taking down the wall. Always imperative. If a wall is in your game, put a hole in it, people. Make that Sage sweat a little bit. Never just leave the wall up. That's weird. That's weird. Tips for all. PSA. Oh, baby.
And it wasn't with the Rolling Thunder. The Rolling Thunder was actually elsewhere. The Paranoid is going to follow up, but Lakia gets a kill onto Effie's anyway. Zelsis somehow has gotten behind them, spots parry, denies any other entry, and that includes the spike. Now that sightline has been given up. Now Solo's going to work his way in. As Penny with the op in 1 HP. Looking to make something happen. There's a gravity well. Vanity dodging. Fancy footwork around the utility to trying to keep him back. As the spike has gone down. Keep an eye on parry on the minimap. Work in the middle as Zelsis good for one. Lockdown on top of the Viper Spit. They are fully committing to taking this site back. Lakia has to back up. The op with 1 HP. Doesn't matter. He's good for it. Eventually gets cleaned up. Jamie's gets one as well. The defuse is there. Suggest playing just on the other side. Suggest good for one. Surely giving me a heart attack. Along with the rest of North America, as it looked like he was going to do it, but no, Zelsis is able to get the defuse. Version 1 get to 8. This thing's going back and forth, Riv.
The intensity with which version 1 needed to retake that site was seen in the ultimate usage. Literally on the front doorstep of everything that was happening once they could get into position, and V1 throwing it down. NUTURN doing such a nice job of breaking these sites open, getting in. I love the rolling thunder. Hey, sometimes you gotta ask. I love the rolling thunder coming in.
He just wasn't sure. Yeah.
Unintentional reposition of the Killjoy turret, which then didn't activate as much on people running in. So it was Zelsis not getting as much information on what was happening. Unintentional, but still a really neat aspect of that last round. And Vanity. Vanity being Vanity, you know, hyping it up, spicing things up as well. And he has some questions for his opponents.
So if your version here. Yeah, well, if you're NUTURN here.
Okay, I'm NUTURN.
Right? You just saw a heavy investment of utility of ultimates from version 1 to take that site back, and it was a good entry, right? You also invested the Showstopper, you also invested the Rolling Thunder, but now you're broke. Right, like you're busted. You've got Lakia with the Sheriff, and you've got Allow on a little something. But really, what are you looking to do here, Riv? Ideally, just take a couple of weapons away from V1.
Honestly, it would hopefully be more than that. But they know this is one of those pivotal rounds that can start to swap the game back and forth. Let's take a look at the econ here as it comes through. That's 2 rounds right now for version 1. So that means this round loss is $2,900 on top of NUTURN's money. More than enough credits to be purchasing on that side. If version 1 gets reset, they get $1,900, which could actually put them in a spot where they're not finding all of the utility they need, right? That's $2,600 for Jammies if that comes to fruition. On this, he purchased a gun this round, $7,200. So there's been a drop already for version 1. You said this round could be pivotal. These rounds could be pivotal, and it gets even more as it goes. It's going to be towards B. Spike is down, though.
And you can feel it, Riv, right? Like every T crossed, every I dotted. The heaviness of the moment as these teams are just quietly playing through, understanding that this is a pivotal round for economy for both teams as they try to stay in the upper bracket here in Masters Reykjavik. For NUTURN, they've tested the waters B, they cleared some stuff out, and they invested a little bit as well. But they are going to flip things back, and you see an adjustment from version 1. I think on most other maps, given what they saw early on, you're taking a little bit away, right? Like you're working down ramps, you're working through sewers, you're trying to take some of the middle of the map away. That has not been the case at all year. That was terrifying. That was jump scare stuff right there.
I was not ready for that. I'm glad the players are still vibing right now because, man, this is intense. All right, coming back, testing the water. Penny says one, Blade Storm out.
It's a fake, though. It's a fake, though. Solo's going to invest the lockdown, but the spike is still on the other side. It's Vanity who's alone. Yeah, Zelsys is close by.
I feel like this is one of Vanity's judge situations, but he's got the Phantom.
Zelsys backed up. I don't think Zelsys spotted him. But the trigger discipline. He's good for one. Vanity from, Zelsys from up top gets it as well. Nobody bites on the fake. The clock is going to expire without the spike going down. A couple of members still alive on the side of NUTURN. Of course, as I say that aloud, gets cleaned up, but we're tied up at 9 apiece. Version 1 from Finances should be sitting pretty.
10 seconds left.
That it should. We did see that, a bit of a round where NUTURN wants to get the spike down. They run in a bit willy-nilly without having too much to invest, keeping the econ for further rounds now that we are 9-9. Noticing Penny did go down. That operator is now in the hands of Lakia on the other side. He has been focusing quite a bit for the team to be getting these frags. We saw his Sovas on Ascent, his plays before on Haven. He is somebody to definitely get the impact frags for the team and instantly walled off as you saw them play that to be a quick smoke play, but didn't work. He was trying to hit the utility window that version 1 uses.
And again, a quiet start to this round, as you mentioned, the Viper's Wall delaying some of that initial aggression from NUTURN. They do have the From the Shadows in the hands of Perry, and we've seen him use that for info gathering really every time this map, excuse me. Now we'll see how things play out. Is V1, V1's not getting a lot of information here either, Riv. This is very much like a wait, patiently see things out. Look at where Jammies is right now. I often call that the discipline corner, right? Because it's rare. You have to, when you're dashing across site to get entry on A, you have to look there, and it's actually kind of sickening how frequently that box goes unchecked.
And it's a perfect play here from what could be from Penny as he draws the attention.
That was loud.
Jammies has a field day. Yeah, that was pretty loud. Breach has some big old feet. So they're going to get themselves into a slight position here. And this is where we saw NUTURN as well, kind of leaving the map open. They're like, you know, middle of the map's open. Let's play it. And now it's going to be that play towards the A Heaven side. Effie's ready and waiting.
They are committing onto the site. The discipline corner! The discipline corner! They don't check it! Jammies gets too lucky and stuffs the barrel of the op in his mouth to clean him up, but with 4 seconds left, they've got to hurry up. He's getting delayed. He's not going to have time. The gravity well keeps him off. Perry's not able to get the spike planted. Version 1 take the lead.
NUTURN with a bit of a pause strat there. They balk once they get into vents, and it seemed like it was almost reminiscent of a NUTURN double pump, back and forth, and then hit. But they kind of said, all right, well, now is the time to go. And the first people jumping in are all looking at the same thing. No one really had a corner to look at. It was kind of just in the moment, which meant there wasn't as much utility usage as there could have been. And all A entry from Heaven is a little weird, too, to regain.
Yeah. So oftentimes when you see teams approach, have that style like NUTURN just did, it's intended to cause questioning on the defensive half and to make them unsure about themselves. But the discipline that we've seen out of version 1 to maintain their angles, to not give up an inch, and to be patient, not aggressively peek a corner, has been what's really made this approach from NUTURN ineffective, entirely ineffective.
They've been able to keep the operator in hand. Tiny little jump peaks here going over towards A. Is that Solo figuring out what's going on, getting the info for the team. He just Solo called for a smoke. He wants to see if that will draw any more attention from somebody across the map. as the rest of the team of NUTURN now works it over towards mid. Looks like they will finally meet up with Solo. The captain, or not the captain, I'm sorry, the kind of that brain they listen to is suggest is your captain, your leader there.
So,
but yeah, they're making their way back over.
So Effys puts up that wall up in A heaven, and version 1 rotate off because they have the safety of that. As soon as that wall went up, and as soon as NUTURN saw the wall rift, NUTURN rotated into A, expecting that version 1 was going to pull off, and they should have a numbers advantage on the site, and that's why they're sticking to it. But the paranoia misses onto Penny. Jammies goes entirely undetected as well. 2 have already dropped on the side of NUTURN with 13 seconds left. There's not enough time to go elsewhere. There is no plan B. You've got to commit onto it here. 7 seconds left. Effy's trying to be the last line of defense, but Solo mows his way through what version 1 had set up. Now Vanity and Zelsis are showing up a bit late to the party as the spike goes down. He has the Cosmic Divide, so he's got some utility. He's got a little something. They have a chance.
They've used the Cosmic Divide to get into a site and blast through, but I think without more than 2 viewpoints. Oh my God, Zelsis hits the unhittable shot. Oh my word! It's gonna be Vanity getting Perry in the back. Doug, we always see that trolling and tricking people into firing, but even under recoil control, woohoo, Zelsis eagle eyes the head off his opponent. 11-9, a gap is created now by version 1 here on split over NUTURN, and we're coming up to round 21.
Dude, that was filth. I imagine we're gonna see that again. There was actually so much that was big there. Suggest dying, Zelsis peeking off of his turret, and then somehow that happens onto Solo. Things you really hate to see if you're a fan of NUTURN, because you look at that and go, really?
That shot,
that happened?
I rate that harder than Cypher No Hat and Purple Reyna. Boom. That's how hard that shot is.
Yep.
All right, getting into the next round.
NUTURN showing heavy presence towards A, but not peeking out. It's actually Jammies who's got the op here, normally in the hands of Penny. But Jammies has shown he's pretty formidable with it as well. A couple of cloud bursts to deny info. He may, I think he did spot that. I think he spotted Allow.
Here.
Oh, here.
Yep.
Just enough.
Oh man, the pressure, right? The paranoia, the everything is thrown his way, and he has to back up. He has to give that space up.
Little flash dash combo. You always love to see it start off around. Pressure the opposing team. Let's see if they have a secondary. What's the secondary util now? The first bit of area was gained as we look at NUTURN pretty critically here for this round. Seeing that first strat, allowed space to be gained by Allow. And now they'll try to keep coming up. Already the play from Solo towards mid as they hold the rotation too. So waiting on the patience here, but each round has been that last 30 seconds, Doug.
And Riv, it's not even just the Solo getting control. The wall was up from Effys. They cleared it out, and that pulls Effys back over because they wanted to go A. The Rolling Thunder comes out on top of the showstopper as Lakia gets on to Penny. Jammies with the op. Still alive as the spike begins to go down. Solo is still in an excellent spot to cause problems. We mentioned the Cosmic Divide. It's still available here. Effys also has the res, so you imagine he's going to come over. If they can provide a little bit of cover, there's a chance at something there, but the sightlines are so tight. There's the cover that I was talking about. The Cosmic Divide comes up, but they still have to try to peek around that res. They bring Penny online. Lakia is so tempted to work around it, and he doesn't do it, but Allow does. Solo drops as Allow with the Blade Storm gets snatched out of the sky, not able to provide any impact. The page of that Lakia, the flash on to suggest a round win for NUTURN. Oh my gosh!
Amazing stuff. The Cosmic Divide not ruffling the feathers of NUTURN all that much, knowing it would allow version 1 onto the site. They just set up to watch version 1 walk through, and the shots they were able to make, the plays they were able to hit. Beautifully done on that stop there. And overall, Doug, this got me laughing, because what other ultimate can you throw the Rolling Thunder at than Showstopper? Ray doesn't give a crap if she's concussed in there. She's still hitting a big rocket shot. So that amount of chaos just does not leave you any choice. I love that play from NUTURN.
Very well played indeed, and that's going to bridge the gap down to 1 round lead for version 1. As you see, Jammies has invested the Viper's Pit right off the bat to control entry onto A. Imagine we'll see a wall from Effys here soon, presumably either across mid or entry past mail. And what that really does is that's forcing NUTURN into a spot where it's like, all right, dude, do you have the balls to push into the Viper's pit? Probably not. Do you want to work through the wall? You don't know what's on the other side. So they have to funnel A towards B into garage, and look at all the utility, right? They're even set up to where when allowed dashes across, which is a very common entry for Jett, where's she dashing into? All of the utility, all of the nanoswarms, everything that's there. With that in mind, they're still considering hitting it, but there's just no easy entry in, Rev.
And also, we have not mentioned it much throughout this. Obviously, Vanity's Astra, Harry's Omen, but you also see what the Astra's doing to stop the flow of play along with Sage Orbs, along with everything else they can throw in there. It's not just an Omen Smoke or Paranoia, so you can see how much more it's kind of adding to being able to Gravity Well, being able to Nebula. Penny's been there the whole time, never move an inch, finds the first one.
Oh my gosh, it's a meat grinder! Zelsis and Vanity rip them to shreds! A Prime Gaming flawless, all off the backs of that Viper's Pit at the beginning. The process of elimination for NUTURN to understand we can't go anywhere else except right into version 1's lap, and that puts them at map point, that puts them at series point.
The way version 1 takes control, and still at this level, their opponent is just dumbfounded at the moment when they walk around the corner, is one of the reasons they're here. When you're amazing the casters, when you're amazing everybody else, and you're pulling out stuff like this, it's just the wow factor, and it's a consistent thing coming from version 1, and it might allow them to topple their opponents in NUTURN here in this game point.
Dude, I could break down that round. I could talk about that round for probably an hour. There was just so much that version 1 did well, but now NUTURN, they've got the lockdown ready to go. They're leaning towards A as they fight to keep this map alive. Map 2 went into overtime, and this looks like it very well could as well, but for NUTURN, you've got to come up big. You've got to come up real big. You see the investment of utility already, right? Like, they've invested the Roomba, now they've invested the lockdown, and because of that, look at how version 1 are creeping across the middle of the map. The Sage Wall has blocked off mid. Vanity has full control of ropes and vents. They have defensive spawn as well. They know where they're going. And for NUTURN, they're going to have to push their way into it. Effys gets detained. Are they going to hunt him down? Vanity's there with the bait, but Lakia wins it anyway. He's going to get the third. As Lakia, or excuse me, as version 1 are down to 2 members remaining. Now it is Zelsis, and it is Penny. I'm going to call Zelsis one of their star duelists because up until this point, that's what he has played. But now, on the Killjoy, can you have the same effect?
Penny onto Perry, 3v2. Still a decent amount of time to get over to the spike, but it doesn't look like it's going to be happening on this round 4v1.
Huh. Yeah, they're just going to pull off. Zelsis will try to save whatever weaponry he can into the next round. As you see, members of NUTURN, both Suggest and Lakia are going to carry a rifle in as well. And Riv, we find ourselves at this pivotal juncture yet again, where we're 1 round away from overtime.
OT for me, please. Let's see it. Oh my word, what a game so far. And the play, honestly, maybe just losing the moment or what was going on to have that ult be able to grab somebody on it. It could, you know, it's a bait, we got to detain. But to not be able to play off of what you're trying to set up on your opponent and just fall prey to everything they wanted, it's not a good look. We get 1 from each though, right? Version 1's round before that slaughtered NUTURN. NUTURN bringing it right back to him, delivering the same medicine. As now the setup across the map does put Penny with the operator on B. You have Effys over near heaven of B, under there just to get the slows on. So this is your stop power over here on the B site.
Oh,
now they know there's an op though.
Yeah, dude, and you see that smoke to deny that exact play right there. The wall goes up, and you think it's you have a little bit more freedom. You would think to swing around that and get the ult orb, but the smoke from Perry buys enough space for them to get that ult orb into their pocket, and now they're going to turn their attention over to A with just under a minute left on the clock. They have the showstopper. Perry's going to have his From the Shadows as well.
I would love to see that From the Shadows go towards the back with a showstopper following.
Yep.
Almost immediate chaos once again. They're going to hold everything for now. Showstopper is actually going into heaven. Sorry, into sight, I should say. And that's going to be Zelsis going down to start.
Celsius was the only one on the site. They invested a considerable amount to get on there. We mentioned the Showstopper, we mentioned the From the Shadows. Those have been used. But version 1 are still in a decent spot to be able to take this thing back. Penny has an operator. And that's a big kill. Suggest needs to win that. My gosh, Suggest needed to win that. Vanity on the rope. Literally on the rope, manages to win that gunfight to bring us down to 4 apiece. Version 1, the clock continues to tick away. You're going to have to go here, and you're going to have to go soon. Allow takes care of Penny. It was a dogfight in disguise as Lakia is good for 1 as well. Solo playing around it. No, he gets mowed down through the smoke as it's a 2v2. Perry in a great spot. Lakia is in a good spot as well. Baby, if it wasn't enough the first time, we're doing it again. We're going to overtime.
It's exactly what we need to see from these two teams. The caliber of play has topped, and we are now seeing them leave everything on the map. I cannot wait to see what they even pull out in these overtime rounds. Seeing what NUTURN was going through in map 1 made this series, Doug, we have to recap, made this series seem like it was version 1's from the beginning. But that was never the case. NUTURN knew they could come back. They had the strats. At times, they have made version 1 play their game. And now both teams, again, like you said, meet each other in the overtime. It's now, is it the up? Do they bring it back out? They will not. It's going to be full buys all around with rifles, full armor, as they're not leaving anything to chance. Tactical timeout here coming in from NUTURN to start off our overtime round. But will it be version 1 entering this tournament with the sub of Jammies, surprising the world, or the Kingslayers of Korea to move on in the upper bracket, taking down Damwon Kia to get here, taking down Vision Strikers to get here, and showing a lot of potential and power doing it. And now we got this matchup. It couldn't have ended any other way.
No, absolutely not. I think the one thing that we have to keep in mind here is as we go into overtime, as we think about how each side played out for both teams, version 1 were very effective on the attacking half, right? You remember it was a 6-6 half, which is not common on split. That means they have really had something good going for them on the attacking side. Now version 1 is going to be starting the overtime on attack. We'll see what NUTURN can do. We'll see what kind of adjustments they have to make really to stifle the aggression that version 1 showed that got them to a 6-6 half.
And this is where you get to use everything, Doug. This is where everybody looks at utility usage. Everybody looks at how you're playing these rounds out, because it's now up to you. It's not up to what the econ is providing you this round. You're not out of a molly. What will you be able to do with everything? And that's one of the parts I love, is these are the strats these teams have orchestrated for OTs. It's kind of like the penalty shot. What do they have? What secret is it to get that one round in their favor?
Okay, so slight adaptation, but a similar look from NUTURN early on. The fault line into garage, the smoke from Perry to deny information, but it's a slight miss, so Vanity's actually able to check that back corner that's been so problematic for Vanity and for the rest of V1 on that first half. Now they have full control there. Yes, Celsius dropped. We'll see what Vanity can do to exploit things, and oh my gosh, Jammies has as well.
Great push there as they were coming back, able to get up and get a bit on a Celsius and Jammies.
That's a terrifying crossfire.
Vanity's still working it. The crossfire in A2 as well by NUTURN, terrifying.
Way.
It's going to be tough for this to actually make something work. Great positioning by version 1 here, but yeah, that's a difficult one.
Riv, that Arumba somehow didn't detect the two members of V1 as they pushed through, and now they're actually coming in from behind. There's an excellent pinch because of what Vanity was able to do, but Vanity has to come up big here. He's already gotten one. But he's in a 1v3. Yeah, he's going to get cleaned up. The concerns that we had about NUTURN on the defensive half have for now been stifled as they take the lead.
Match point.
Woo. See what happens here as we check the replay. Oh my word. That kind of play, it puts a smile on my face, because it's in the mind of your opponent, and that's how you always have to be playing. The moment you're thinking, I need to nade, I need to move up, you're already 2 steps behind your opponent. You always need to be thinking, are they moving? What are they doing? And yeah, they're moving. Here comes Allow.
Full-on aggression, but again, it's a bait. You see Allow has made a whole lot of noise towards A, but the spike is quietly making its way towards B and Riv. I mentioned the discipline that version 1 showed in regulation, but now they've bit really hard on the early aggression, so NUTURN's going to be able to get onto B, really for free unless Zelsis can cause some heroics. He's already taken care of Lakia. What else does he have left in him?
Quick turret up. Flank now by Allow. Waiting very, very patiently for any noise. They're not going to give it to him just yet. It looks like the flank won't be had by version 1 as they come back into the site here, but it is going to be Zelsis watching for Allow as here comes the retake ever so slowly.
They're waiting for Jamies to show up. Now Jamies has joined the fold, but Allow, as you said, is on the flank. Might cause a problem. No, Penny highlights this time around as, my goodness, it very well may be happening. Zelsis drops 1, but what else can he do? No!